Mindset does play a pretty big role with regards to your success level and your focus. And that's actually what I want to talk about in this video, is what kind of mindset do you have to have going into a sale? You see, again, I believe if you don't implement this ideology or this practice, you're going to do more harm than good. And let me give you an example. So, before I started implementing this process, how I would go into my pitches was I would have that inner voice, right? Because what you're doing whenever we structure a deal, or whenever we kind of practice our pitch or prepare for our pitch to our prospect, what we do is we say it within our head, right? We kind of plan it, map it out, and then we kind of look at different objections that could possibly come up. And if those objections come up, what would be your alternative? How are you going to counteract that objection, right? And that is actually where the start of the sale happens. And if you don't implement this concept, you're going to allow that dialogue, that voice within your head to plant doubt, to plant insecurities. And what happens is when you're coming from an insecure place, it could be felt, right? Have you ever heard somebody, maybe you got kids, or maybe you heard your friend, or maybe even you heard yourself, right? Comment below if you agree. You could tell when someone's coming from an insecure place because they're not sure. And why I know that this is true is because I hear it all day long. I used to do it. So if you're doing it right now, don't worry, implement this practice and you'll change the way that your results are happening. And that practice is the very first person who should be sold on the product or the service or the results that you're providing is you. Let me explain. So on the flip side, if you've ever heard yourself or somebody else come from a point of insecurity, you could tell. But if you've heard anyone come from a place of confidence, you could tell, right? And so why I believe that you have to be sold first is because when you prepare and when you practice, you have to look for reasons why you would do it. And you have to come from a biased opinion somewhat, because you're coming from their view. And when I say their view, I'm talking about you're coming from your prospect's view. You're not coming from your view, like your upside and of why your cost is lower, why your rate and fees are lower. It's not about the cost, the rate, or the fee. That's a misconception that a lot of salespeople have, and because their belief system is wired that way, they have a difficult time in actually providing or selling their services.